Hello everyone, hope you are doing good. My name is Arman and welcome back to my channel. So guys, today in this video, I'm going to discuss with you about section 13 of the Transfer of Property Act. So when it's come to the Transfer of Property Act, it is one of the most important paper of judicial service also, and also it is important for the any kind of law exams, law related exams, and if you are a law student, if you are studying LLB, BLLB, whatever. So there also the Transfer of Property Act plays a really important role. So it is really important. You should know all the important features and also as well as the important topic of the Transfer of Property Act. So to be particular, section 13, section 14, section 15 and section 20, section 21, section 19, section 54, 53A. So these sections are really important. Okay, you have to have the complete knowledge about these sections because most of the questions come from this these sections only. So that's why I thought of creating a series on the Transfer of Property Act. So today is the first video that I'm going to make on section 13 of the Transfer of Property Act. In the next coming video, I will be making videos on section 14 like that. The important sections I will cover with my videos. I hope you people will give a love and support like you have been giving. I'm really happy that people are being benefited with my videos and they have been commenting, and I can see the subscribers have also been increased. So if you are watching this video for the first time, do subscribe it and do share a love and support, and do like the video and share this video. And if you have any questions, you can comment down below, and you can also follow me in Instagram. There is a Instagram link in the description box, please find that. And if you want particularly in some other topic of video, then you can comment down. And there are people who has been asking me to solve the previous year questions paper. So to those, I wanted to tell that I have completely solved all the papers of Assam Judicial Service grade 3 exam, all the papers. There is no paper left which need to be solved. So do watch the videos and go to the playlist where you will find the various playlists that I have created, especially if you visit to the Assam all about judicial service, Assam Judicial Service. So in that group, in that playlist, you will find entire detail relating to the Assam Judicial Service exam. So without any further delay, let's start today's video. So guys, section 13. So section 13 of Transfer of Property Act, it talks about transfer for benefit of unborn person. So basically, before going to the nitty-gritty or before going to the definition of this section, what is the content of the section, it is important, like you should know, you should have a proper overview about it. So let's understand. Okay, so first of all, it is very important we know that what is the unborn person. Who is unborn person? Okay, unborn person means who is not born. But especially if you are talking about the Transfer of Property Act with this in reference to this section, then here the unborn person doesn't only mean that it is a person who is in the mother's womb. It also means the person who is not even in existence, who is not even conceived. Okay, so the Transfer of Property Act the unborn person talks about that. All right, so guys, so transfer for the benefit of unborn person. So the heading of the section says itself that transfer for the benefit of unborn person. All right, so what happens generally, if you read the section 5 of the Transfer of Property Act, which defines the transfer and what are the transfer can be done. So what are the properties that can be transferred? Section 5 deals with that. I hope you have complete idea about that. If you haven't, I will make videos definitely on that in the next video. So what is section 5 talks about? That it talks about the transfer can be done between the only two living person. Okay, person or persons. The person has to be living person, and here the person does not only mean the human being. It also includes the artificial person or juristic persons or corporeal or non-corporeal, all kind of persons. Okay, like companies and all this. I hope you know the meaning of corporeal and non-corporeal, all this. So guys, let's understand. So basically, Transfer of Property Act, as I mentioned, between the two living person, transfer of property. And also one more thing, transfer of property, the subject matter of Transfer of Property Act is a immovable property, not a movable property. Okay, if it is a movable property, that will be dealing under Contract Act or say Sales of Goods Act, all this. Okay, but particularly Transfer of Property Act deals with the immovable property. This could be the properties which cannot be moved. Okay, so as it says, section 5 says that the transfer can be done between the only two living person. But unborn person, this is the exception. Section 13, 14, these are the exception to the rule, that is inter vivos, rule against inter vivos. Okay, if you inter vivos, please remember that term. Inter vivos means that between two living person. Okay, so here transfer for benefit of unborn person. So this is the exception of the rule that is inter vivos, the rule against inter vivos. Okay, so if we see section 13, then there are some important points that we need to consider. So prior discussing about prior going to the details of this section. Okay, so the thing that is that section 13 talks about the transfer for the benefit of unborn person. Okay, so for the benefit is important. For the benefit, for the transfer of the benefit for the unborn person. Unborn person with regard to this section means the person who is in the mother's womb, as well as the person who is not even in existence, okay, in any form. So like this is the exception to the rule that is laid down by section 5. Section 5 says that the transfer can be done between the only two living person or persons. Okay, so here person means the corporeal person, non-corporeal person, or individual, or say any kind of non-corporeal person, or example companies and all this. It also includes artificial persons. All right, so section 13 is the exception to the rule that a property can be transferred to an unborn person. Okay, a property can be transferred to an unborn person. But let's suppose A wants to transfer the property to B's daughter, but B is not married yet. Okay, but there is a possibility, there is a high chance that the B will get married, and once he get married, obviously he will have a child. B will have a child. The property will go to the child. Okay, so in that case, A suddenly directly cannot transfer the property to the. So I write this property to the daughter of C. He cannot transfer the property in that way. He cannot do that. If he does that, the such transfer will be abeyance. Okay, the first property will go in abeyance. You will find that word in the section itself. If you go to the book, also you will find this term abeyance. Okay, the property will go to the abeyance. That means such transfer will become void. Okay, that cannot be done because on whose name the property will be given. On whose name? There is no name, because the child will be born, the giving birth by the B will be, there is a possibility whether he will be a male, female, what will be the name, everything. So all these kind of consequences are there. So that's why the property cannot be directly transferred to the B's daughter. Okay, what if you give birth to a son, then what will happen? So that is why, so the property will go in abeyance. So that's why the such kind of transfer will be void. All right, so let's suppose there is a father. Okay, there is a father and he has a son, and the father do not have the faith on his son that if the father transfer his property to his son, the son will destroy the property. The son will not make the good benefit of the property. So in that case, the father thought that he wanted to transfer that property to the son's son, I mean grandson, to his grandson. He wants to transfer the property to his grandson. So in that case, the father can transfer the property to his grandson who is unborn, who is not born yet. Okay, give his unborn person, but not directly, but with the creation of the trust. The father has to create a trust who will look after the property, who will have the life interest to the property. So what is life interest? We will be discussing while we see this section. So the father has to create a trustee for the property who will have the life interest to the property, and after the birth of the child, the property will go to the hands of the ultimate beneficiary. Okay, so here the father cannot say that, also cannot make any kind of transfer that which will after, let's suppose the unborn child is get birth. Okay, unborn child is in existence now. The father has transferred the property. Okay, and also the father cannot say that through his lifetime, I mean through the lifetime of my grandson, he will enjoy the property right after, then after it will go to the C, then it will go to the, he cannot do that. Okay, so the ultimate beneficiary, the property which will be conferring after the trustee, after the trustee, the property will go to the ultimate beneficiary, right? So the beneficiary must get the property completely. Okay, there should not be if or but, that that only these things are allowed to him, only these things are not allowed. He cannot do that. So suppose transferee has to transfer the property. First he will transfer to the trustee, then the property will go to the hands of the unborn person. Once he gets the birth, the unborn person will get the property, and the entire property has to go to him without any condition. There should not be if or but. Okay, so that's what the provision of section 13. I hope you are able to understand what I'm trying to say. So let's look at the section in detail, then it will be more easy for us to understand what is transfer of property between unborn person. Okay, so section 13 says that a transfer for benefit of unborn person. Section 13, so it talks about where on a transfer of property, whenever there is a transfer of property and interest therein created. obviously the property, whenever there will transfer, the interest will be created, right? Interest will be created for the benefit of a person not in existence. Okay, so the benefit is created for the person who is not even in existence. So basically talking about the unborn person, okay, not even in existence at the date of transfer. So at the date of the transfer there is, so where there is a transfer of property and interest therein created for the benefit of an unborn person at the date of the transfer, subject to a prior interest created by the same transferor, by the same transfer. So subject to the prior interest created by the same transfer. Here the prior interest, because transferee cannot transfer the property directly to the, sorry, the transferor cannot transfer the property directly to the transferee because transferee is not in existence. So that's why the transferor has to create a prior interest. That means the prior interest here means, so prior interest, you can suppose it is a trustee. Okay, it is a trustee. The transferor has created a prior interest, that is a trustee on under the same transaction, I mean same transfer. Okay, same transfer. So here if let's example, okay, A wants to transfer the property for the benefit of C, who is an unborn person, who is not born yet. Okay, unborn person. So obviously he cannot directly transfer the property to the unborn person, so he has to create a prior interest, the prior than C. So B, so B is a trustee, you can say. Okay, trustee. So the prior interest will be created by A under the same transaction, I mean same transfer. This is the same transfer date. Okay, under the same transfer date, A transfer the property to B, and which will be completely go to the unborn person once the unborn person comes alive, comes to the existence. Okay, so this is what it is talking about here. Okay, so they created by the same transfer, then the interest created for the benefit of such person. So he has created the benefit for such person and property, obviously it is for the benefit of the unborn person. Okay, so the interest created for the benefit of such person shall not take effect. It will not take effect unless it is enacted, unless it is intended to the whole of the remaining interest of the transferor in the property. So whatever the property he is, like whatever the property, let's suppose this is the property. Okay, X is a property, A wanted this property to go to the hands of the unborn person. Okay, unborn person. So obviously unborn person right now is not in existence, so that's why he will create the prior interest, that is B, his trustee. So the property is in the hand, now is in the hands of the B. Okay, so in order to complete this section, to fulfill the section, so what will happen, what is needed, the thing is needed is that the entire property has to go once to the hands of the C, once C gets into existence. So once the C comes alive, the property has to go completely. That's what it is saying here. Okay, so that the shall not take effect unless the exact, unless it intended to the whole of the remaining interest, the whole of the whole interest has to be conferred to the C, because C is the ultimate beneficiary according to the like section 13. Suppose if a person makes a contract or say transfers the property for the benefit of an unborn person, the property has to go completely to the beneficiary. Okay, here A cannot make or say impose a condition that like only like C will have a life interest only throughout his life, he can enjoy the property, but after his life he cannot alienate the property. A cannot make such kind of transfer. Okay, so during the lifetime C and this after C the lifetime of D. So these kind of things cannot be done, because so he is not unborn. So the moment he gets birth, he will get the entire right over the property, and the entire property go with the hands of the C. So that this is what the section 13 is talking about. So if we see the essentials of this section, then it will be like okay. So these are the three essentials of section 13. It talks about no direct transfer. That means the transferor cannot transfer the property directly to the transferee, because transferee is not in existence. So obviously the transferor has to create a trustee. Okay, the trustee, there will be second person who will look after the property, who will have the life interest to the property, anything, this could be anything. Okay, life interest to the property, and ultimately once the person gets birth, the property will go in the hands of the ultimate beneficiary. Okay, so that is why no direct transfer. All right. The second thing is that prior interest. Okay. So prior interest, that means the prior interest has to be created by the transferor. Okay, the transferor has to create a prior interest. So as I have given the example in the case of A, B, C. Okay, the C is unborn, so prior interest is having B. Okay, so the B will have the prior interest to the property. Prior, throughout his life he can enjoy his property, whatever the condition A has laid down. Okay, so according to that condition the things will go. Okay, so let's suppose that A has transferred the property for the benefit of C. I mean the property will go to the unborn person of C, but the prior interest is created to the C. Okay, so during your lifetime you can enjoy the property, but after your death, the property will go to the ultimate beneficiary, that is the unborn person C. So this kind of condition can also be applicable here. Okay, if A puts such kind of conditions. But ultimately, whatever the property C will acquire after the death of the trustee, or say anything, or say the caretaker of the property, so the property has to go completely in the hands of the C. So that's what it is saying. So the absolute interest has to be given to the C. So the absolute interest, once the C get the, if the let's suppose that C gets only the conditional interest. Okay, the conditional interest that he cannot alienate the property, he cannot sell the property, he cannot do that, he cannot this that, he will have only life interest to the property. So these are the conditional interest. So there should not be any kind of conditional interest, there should be absolute interest, that C should have the absolute interest to do whatever the things he wanted to do. Alright, so this is the main 3 essentials of section 13. I hope you are able to understand till here. One more thing that is important here, let's suppose there is a transferor. Okay, A is a transferor. A is a transferor and C is a transferee. C is a transferee and B is a, say, a trustee. Okay, trustee. Okay, so here so here A transferred the property for the benefit of the C, but the C is not in existence. So the ultimate transfer is not in existence, he is an unborn. Okay, so C is an unborn person. So what the A will do, A will transfer the property to B. Okay, to B for his life interest. The prior interest is created, throughout his life the B will enjoy the property, and so, or say like until the birth of the child the property will be in the hands of the C. This kind of condition can also be there. Okay, so the moment C gets the birth, the property will go to the hands of the property will go to the hands of the C from the B. Okay, but let's suppose A has made a condition that, so until C attains the age of majority, that is 18 years, until the C attains the age of majority, the property will be taken care by the C only, B only. The C will not get the right over the property. The C will get the vested interest to the property, vested interest. Okay, that is under section 18. Okay, so C will get the vested interest in the property, but the property is not transferred yet. Okay, the property is not transferred yet. So the moment he will attain that age of majority, that is 18 years, the property will go to the C. So this kind of condition also be laid down by the transferor. Okay, that is completely valid under section 13. Alright, so now let's look at the case laws. So with the help of case law, it will be very easy for us to understand this concept more. Okay, so guys, the case that is Gilgit Dutt versus Datta Din 1934, this case actually explains the entire condition, possibilities, everything, answers all the questions regarding section 13. Okay, so it talks about so A gives a property who was her nephew's daughter with the condition that this gift by A to B for life, and after her life, if she gives any birth to a male or female descendant, the property will go absolutely to the B's descendants. Okay, but if the B do not have any descendants, then the property will go to the nephew. Okay, that was the condition. Okay, but in this case what happened, B died without having any issues. B died without having any issues. Now what will happen? What will the condition? Who will get the property now? Who will get the property? So the first transfer was cancelled. The transfer was become invalid, because according to this law, when the prior interest created, so here the prior interest created in the on the name of B, right? B is the, say, trustee. if he has any kind of issues, I mean the son, daughter, whatever, then the son and daughter will be the ultimate beneficiary of the property. But but the B died. B died before getting birth to a child. She died. Okay, she died. So now what will happen? When the prior interest is cancelled, the property, this transaction entire transfer is cancelled. Okay, because there is no subsequent interest either. So the condition, like if we do not have any issues, I mean we do not have any child or say descendant, the property will go to the hands of nephew. So it will not be concluded like that, because when the prior interest is cancelled, the subsequent interest will also be cancelled. Okay, so here the property will remain in the hands of the slave only. Okay, whoever is legal here, who will get the property. Okay, so this kind of person cannot claim the property. Alright, so this is the condition laid down by this case, Bridges Dutt versus Dattadin. This case is really important. You please mention this case. If you are making a note, you don't forget to mention this case law. Okay, so this is all about section 13 of Transfer of Property Act. Alright guys, whenever you are writing your answers on transfer of property to the unborn for the benefit of unborn person, then you have to mention section 20. Okay, section 13 along with read with section 20, because section 20 talks about the rights of the property, rights of the unborn person. It talks about the vested right of the unborn person. What is vested, what is contingent right, and we will be discussing in the next video. Okay, so guys, section 20 talks about when, and the heading of this section is like when unborn person acquires vested interest on the transfer for his benefit. So when the unborn person gets the vested interest over the property, so it says that where on a transfer of property an interest therein created for the benefit of the unborn person. So whenever the property is being transferred, obviously there is transfer of property under section 13, so that will be obviously for the benefit of the unborn person. Okay, unborn person not then living. Okay, not then living, obviously not then living, he acquire upon his birth. So the moment he gets the birth, he will acquire the vested interest over the property. Okay, that he will be the ultimate beneficiary unless a contrary intention appears from the terms of the transfer. Okay, so contrary intention could be anything, but on the terms of the transfer, a vested interest, although he may not be entitled to immediate enjoyment of the property upon his birth. Okay, so unless the contrary intention, so it's the first part, it says that the unborn person will get the absolute right, vested interest over the property the moment he gets the birth, the moment he get into the existence. But unless the contrary intention appears from the transfer, so there is a condition in the transfer that, like after the, let's suppose that the ultimate beneficiary is the unborn person. Okay, the property today, the property is transferred. So let's suppose 2021 January, the property is being transferred for the benefit of the unborn person. Okay, but the property is in the hands of the B. Okay, so the B will have so condition is like that, the B will have life interest over the property. So throughout the life, the B will have the entire say right over the property for the enjoyment only, but he cannot alienate the property. B cannot alienate the property. So you can say like, so on the January the property is created. Okay, the property is created on the December. The unborn person came into the existence. So the unborn person cannot directly claim the property, though unborn person is the absolute beneficiary of the property. But the condition of the transfer is such that during the lifetime of the B will enjoy the property. So once the B dies, then only the unborn person becomes the sole owner of the property. Okay, so here the ultimate beneficiary will have the vested interest over the property. He is the owner. He will get right over the property, but after the lifetime of the B. Okay, after the lifetime of the B. So this could be condition also, or say another condition. Let's suppose, as I have already told you, that like until the unborn person becomes the major person, until the unborn person becomes adult, say 18 years, till that time entire property will be looked after or say enjoyed by the B only. So that can also be done. So this is what it is talking under section 20. So whenever you are writing section 13, please mention about section 20. This is one of the really important point that need to be answered. So this is the end of this video. I hope whatever the things that I have discussed, I am able to make you understand about this topic. If it is, then please hit the like button, and if you have any questions, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video. We will be discussing about the rule against perpetuity and vested interest, contingent interest also. These things are really important. So this section is really important. Please make a prepare a note for your judicial service exam if you are preparing, and it is also important for the LLB also. This is one of the really important topic under Transfer of Property Act. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care of yourself. Bye bye.